it so when I ask why, sometimes I want to know why so that I can decide how to do things differently. Sometimes I want to know why because I have some difficult emotional processing to do. When I experience a moment of loss, and as a rhetorical question, not really expecting an answer, I shout out in anguish, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to one I loved? Why did this happen to my family? Why did this happen in my town, whatever it was? You could say, why did this happen? And say it and mean it as if it were a rhetorical question, we'll never know why. And maybe we won't. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll only know part of it. But the point being, you can also say, why did this happen? As a genuine inquiry for information. If you say it in the previous fashion, though, as a rhetorical question, why did this happen? And what you want, what you really want underneath it, is not for perpetrators to be punished and blamed, because if, in the case of a murder, if someone, if a disturbed person murdered someone whom you love, there is nothing you can do to that perpetrator that will bring your loved one back. Certain progressions of life are irreversible. This is not necessarily a problem if we make good use of whatever time we do have before that. The only problem, the only regrets, I suppose, being that we would run out of time at some point. But so in asking why, we have the row of dominoes, and each one is falling. It's a progression that happens, which is to say that if the reason something bad happened was because of some negative thing that was done to me, I have to exercise my will and my love and my faith to keep from being the domino that transfers that brokenness through me to another person. And that's not always a very easy thing to do, because sometimes it really hurts, and the instinctive reaction is to lash out, to physically defend oneself for the attack that may be really psychological, emotional, or spiritual in nature. So the invitation to me within that moment is to step out of the line and deny the chain reaction its otherwise logical completion. The point is, we can stop the falling dominoes. We can stop the advance of hate if we're willing to infuse a bit of love, infuse a bit of wisdom, by integrating our love and wisdom to say, I know how to keep the brokenness from reproducing itself. I can step out of the line. The power won't be transferred through me to another domino, and the falling can stop, and we can have a better world in which to live. A world in which we don't all have to fall down dead, but that we can find ways to celebrate life and to do our own sort of dance by connecting with those who are completely different from ourselves. Why is one person one way and why is one person another? Again, it goes back to the context, that there are things that help to make us who and what we are, and that's easy to overlook in a world that is forever rushing to meet demands and rushing to create better ways of being. Rushing because our lives are finite. There's only so many hours in a day, and if we want to see this done, sometimes it's up to us to do it. We can do that, however. It's not impossible. It's not even something that should never be tried in many cases. If what you are about, if what you feel drawn to is creating wisdom and love for everyone to share, and if where that begins is in first looking in the mirror and teaching yourself how to be a better example, and then dealing with those people immediately around you, and in a gentle, honest, but very tactful, sensitive way saying, I really appreciate that you worked hard on this. You know, it could be even better, perhaps, not necessarily, but perhaps it could be even better if you also did this. What do you think of that idea? And if they don't like it, great. I'd be happy to help you put it together. If they don't like it, that's fine too. They probably have reasons for making the choice they did. In any case, the question word why, it's a simple little three-letter word, but it really has some really profound implications that could guide us to being more empowered, more wiser, more loving people. People able to have much greater positive impact upon the world in which they live. By not running from the question of why just because it's difficult, but by embracing it and using that embrace to teach myself, or to teach ourselves, new ways of addressing challenges that, underneath the superficial appearance, there's an awful lot of challenges that really haven't changed at all in the last 2,000 years. There's the same basic issues of survival, of meaning, of wanting to love and feel loved. It's the work of humanity, the ongoing work of humanity, to wrestle with the question word why